Martin, what do you make of it? I tuned into Aston Villa against Arsenal and I could not take my eyes off it at the weekend. Arsenal flying, we know that. Aston Villa now under the guidance of Unai Emery. But twice coming from behind, was it a character-defining win from Arsenal? I mean, when you look at it, crucially, at the end, they win 4-2, but the third goal comes in the 93rd minute. The fourth goal comes in the 98th minute. I mean, did the Gunners go from title collapse to title believers there and then?
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that was generally or genuinely character defining in the sense that they lost midweek to Manchester City. I think, what was it? They picked up, was it 1 point in the last 3 games? I might just be wrong, or something like that.
Yeah.
And now suddenly there's a bit of a wobble. You're going to Aston Villa. This is a really difficult game, and you're coming through, and you are scoring goals in the last couple of minutes of the matches. Take aside the fourth goal, leave that out of it now because of the goalkeepers come up the pitch. But you're trying to win the game in the 93rd, 94th, 95th minute of a match. That is character defining. There's no question. Will it be enough for them to win the league? It is major. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I felt Manchester City then, listening to that result coming through, and I'm not saying that the two games were contemporaneous. They weren't, obviously, because there was a gap of an hour or two. But Manchester City are listening into that. They'll take a draw. They'll take a draw all day long. It'll be 2-2 going through. Then suddenly the news has come through. Wow, they've been beaten in the game. Right, Manchester City won't. It'll be a concern, because if I was the manager, I'd think, oh, that's 2 points. We still have our own job. Manchester City should have beaten Nottingham Forest out of sight and didn't do. Then they concede a goal with about 6 minutes to go in the match. So if you were, and it felt as if the two games were simultaneous. They weren't.
But you think the Arsenal result very much worked on the City players?
No. Manchester City should have won the game. What I'm talking about the outcome of the two. So suddenly that Manchester City are thinking maybe that Aston Villa can get the draw. So that's 2 points dropped by Arsenal. And then suddenly we should have been 4-0 up against Nottingham Forest. No doubt at all about it. And then lose a late goal. It felt as if that changed, suddenly if the momentum changed again from Wednesday night.
Shift.
Psychological. I'm not sure, because Manchester City is still a top quality team, top quality side, and are capable of overcoming these sort of difficulties. And I think they still have to play Arsenal as well. But that was a big moment for Arsenal, and well done there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the moment. I must admit, Simon, I went to the game the other night at the Emirates and I saw Arsenal lose to City.
Yeah.
And I thought, City, yeah, they're probably going to get there in the end. I've changed again after watching what Arsenal did late on. I think Arteta's got a team that will fight to the very last breath, and that's what he needs if you're going to win the title.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have flip-flopped as well. But I do think Manchester City will end up winning the league. I think they have the know-how, the nous. The quality, the experience. They carry the impending threat that I don't suspect the players like Nketiah carry in the same way that Haaland and De Bruyne carry. I think Martinelli getting a goal is important, because I think he's been out of sorts ever since Jesus has been out of the side. And I think Arsenal got some very good players. I mean, Zinchenko was great on the day, scored a wonderful goal. And it's a great result to dig out. Villa are capable of conceding 4 goals. We saw Leicester give them 4 goals couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
so they're not,
true.
Let's compare with what Aston Villa are against what Arsenal are going to have to play against.
Yeah.
Aston Villa are a mid-table side at this moment in time and operating with mid-table performances. And Unai Emery is a very good coach.
Yeah.
Will get them better. I think Arsenal are what you would expect them to be at this moment in time. A team have got a bit of resolution about them. They've got a manager that's got that football club going, but be under no illusion that the bounce at Arsenal, the crowd, the energy is Arteta driven. He's produced that. He's got that group of players playing in a certain way with a certain belief system. He's got the fans believing in him. It's all wonderful. And Arsenal will win a Premier League in the next 2 years. I don't think it'll be this one.
Martin and Neil, did you ever say to your goalkeeper, we need someone out of this, go up for the corner?
I don't ever remember. That wouldn't have been the topic of conversation. Certainly wouldn't have been the first 2 or 3 points I've been trying to make during the course of a team talk.
Yeah.
But if the goalkeeper has decided in the last minute of the game to go up, do you know what? Well, get on with it if that's the case.
Well, we saw Martinez go up at the end, and then at 3-2 we saw Martinelli scoring into an empty net at the other end. Unai Emery was mightily unhappy with Martinez going up and doing what he did, as he explained afterwards.
Yeah, he decided, and sometimes, of course, it's good the player decided himself on the pitch because they are the protagonists. But I don't like it. I told him at the end of the match, and maybe you can score in the history 1, 2 times or 3 times, but the transition, they are more. And I am going to tell them as well. The next days, we have to be consistent in our mind, controlling our emotions, and of course, controlling of our game plan we prepare.
You know, Martin, I mean, Martinez is a World Cup winner in Qatar with Argentina quite recently, so he's been used to being exalted worldwide. To a degree, do you think Emery, he's speaking his mind, but is he throwing Martinez under the bus here?
From a distance, that looks the case. I'm not so sure that he really meant to be as strong in that. I think that he's obviously disappointed. I think his stats are probably right in terms of the number of times a goalkeeper goes up to the number of times that a goal might be scored at the other end. I know it'd be very, very interesting, but I genuinely don't think he meant it to be as tough as that. If I'm the goalkeeper, I'm scratching my head and thinking, oh, wait a minute, did the manager just
get a bit spiky
just
there?
have a bit spiky? Yeah, I must admit.
Yeah.
I don't.
You ever done that? You use the media to impart a message?
Do you know what, Jim? I wouldn't want somebody to bring something up and then find out that I'd said it. I don't think so. What I might have done is to say, certainly after a game was over, I don't think I ever threw players under the bus. Genuinely. If we've won the game, I think I might have had some little comment about someone or other, particularly if he's done okay in the game.
Yeah.
But I want to get something out that, for instance, Ian Marshall, maybe a big lad who was a scruffy looking. So I might have said, oh, well done Ian for that, or well done Marshall for scoring that goal. It might take a bit of scruffiness out of you. I might have made some sort of silly comment like that there, but I don't honestly think that I would have thrown players under the bus after defeats.
No, there are many, Simon, who remember Martinez's antics in Qatar at that penalty shootout.
That's up to the referee.
At that time, of course, in the final against the French, and the celebrations afterwards, which were none too dignified in the minds of many. There was a bit of football karma here, seeing him trying to hear back but get nowhere near Martinelli as he puts the ball in the empty net.
Not really, no. I mean,
and the ball coming off the back of his head.
Yeah, I know.
First of
all, it was a great strike from Jorginho, just a bit unlucky, wasn't it? The goalkeeper, the ball landing on the way down. I don't look at it that way. I look at the penalty shootout, and his behaviour was the referee allowed it. So there's lots of goalkeepers who would have done the same thing. The referee allowed that sort of behaviour. The pointing at the groin and all that rubbish, that wasn't the most palatable for a World Cup winner to be doing with a World Cup trophy in his hands. But the bottom line is I had this difference of opinion with Martinez, maybe because I've never been a football manager. I'm not entirely sure that players deserve to be protected at times. I think you build character in players by treating them equally in success and failure. And you've no problem with praising them in the press. No one has any problem with praising managers in the press. They'll read that all day. And managers and players will bring it into your office as a chairman. Go, look at that from my manager. I want a pay rise. But when it comes to any criticism, all that's taboo. And I believe that you build characteristics in people by being able to praise and castigate in equal measure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. You wouldn't believe how sensitive some players can be, But
that's not winners, then, is it?
It's not really that. What is the point? What is the point of throwing players under the bus? What is seriously?
Depends if you know the character of the person that you're doing it to.
Well,
if you're going to give someone a telling off, right? Yeah. You better know why they're going to receive it. Otherwise, the only person that's getting validation out of that is you, right? So you tell someone off to get back from them. If you're going to throw a player under the bus, it's because you expect them to either have a reaction to that, or you're making sure that other people know that you don't muck about, and there is consequences to people who do not behave in a way that you think's fitting.
Well, I don't think you have to go and do a public press conference to know whether you are in control of a football club or not.
I agree. I agree, but the media is a powerful tool. It's used by everybody.
Yeah, it is.
You managers particularly use it to be able to advance your opinions.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but players soon suss that as well too. That if you're using that
Yeah.
As a staple diet, yeah, I agree
as
with
a
you.
tool,
Yeah.
yes. Players, no, I'm sorry.
Martin, we're gonna
eventually, what happens is that they store it in the back of their mind. You win the next couple of games, they shouldn't forget about it.
Yeah.
You don't win the next couple of games, oh, listen, it becomes a different issue. I don't feel as if you have to throw players under the bus. I'll tell you why.
But is it
I'll tell you why.
This characterisation of throwing them under the bus, is it throwing them under the bus or is it making them accountable? You're accountable.
Yeah.
I was accountable.
Yeah.
Why are the people that deliver the outcomes the only people that are not accountable?
Yeah, because that's the nature of the game. That has always been the game.
Okay.
Yes,
Doesn't make it right, does it?
No, it doesn't necessarily make it right, but that's the game.
Did Cloughy do that with you guys?
If you can change, huh?
Did Cloughy take you into the public domain? Players, full stop. I think he did.
Yeah, but we're talking about something about 35, 40 years ago.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
You think
It matters
so?
a great. Yeah, it
Because
does.
you lot have engendered a culture in these players that they can do what they want.
It matters a great deal because players are more sensitive now than ever before.
You've allowed it.
Well, no, I'm sorry, allowed it. No, society
encouraged it, developed it, facilitated it, enabled it.
No, society
Good line,
society
Martin.
has
Society.
allowed it. Has allowed it. I don't think I facilitated it. Far from
Enabled
it.
it, encouraged it.
Oh, listen,
Patronised it.
there are many a time where I would love to have said what I in public, what I said in the dressing room. I would love to have done that. That would be great. But you know what? You just turned. The only benefit I would have got was a 5 minute benefit to me at the end of the day. And by Monday morning, I've had to go into a group of players, disenchanted players. Sorry about it. Listen, I'm all on. I'm all on to be really happy to leave players out, particularly players I didn't like. It was really, really good, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I do have a problem about using my frustration publicly to hammer players when I've already done it in the dressing room.
I think there are some Villa fans who wouldn't mind if Martinez is left out anytime soon. Lee in Stourbridge, I'm an Aston Villa season ticket holder. Martinez has been acting up since the World Cup. A lot of us are fed up with him. He's got far too big for his boots. Okay, Lee, we'll take that on board. 12 noon.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.